Well, the House of Representatives on Thursday constituted 134 standing committees for its legislative activities in the 10th National Assembly. Speaker of the House, that's Tajuddin Abbas, announced the committees and their chairman and deputy chairman and warned that there would be no so-called juicy committees. He emphasized that all committee chairmen would command equal status. He also asked them to get all committee members involved in their plans as well as endeavor to be transparent in discharging their duties. Abbas also set up a committee he tagged Friendship Committee to promote external engagements. A monitoring framework to evaluate the performances of the chairman was also constituted. The speaker said the selection committee that he chaired relied on capacity and experience in nominating chairmen. Well, Rise analyst Dayo Sobowale joins us now to discuss the expansion and constitution of those 134 standing committees by the House of Representatives against the backdrop of the widespread clamor for a cut in the cost of governance. Good afternoon, Mr. Sobowale. Good to see you.
Yes, it's a pleasure being here.
It's a pleasure to have you.
Right.
Now, this expansion is coming at a time that Nigerians are being asked to be patient, and we're also seeking, a relative cut in the cost of governance. I'm wondering what you make of this. Do you deem this gesture a wise one and timely one?
It is both unwise and not expected at this time to use your words now instead of disagree with you. But you see, I have an analogy. A boxer, preparing for a fight, must trim his fat and be at his best fighting weight. That is, must shed excess load. This assembly is, to me, like a boxer, facing the pangs of fuel subsidy removal. And it is oblivious of what it should do. It is expanding instead of cutting its coat according to its cloth. It is a laughable, condemnable situation. They were 109 committees before, they are now 134. You imagine the cost that will go in all that. What I expected was that they will even merge. You get me? And, okay, before I lose track of it, what is important to me in this discussion is the historical consideration that I'll put here. In 2012, during the Jonanda regime, they removed subsidy. But the House, at its session, set up an emergency plenary committee to look at how fuel subsidy was managed for between 2009 and 2011. And that report is there. I will recommend that report to this House. Do you get me? Because we are in the same situation now.
Yeah.
And they are going on holiday for 6 weeks. It is not wise. And it does not show that they are responsive to the pains and yearnings of Nigerians at this point in time. They should go and look at that 2012 report. An emergency session of this same House sat January and February 2012 to consider, and the result is damnable. You get me? They discovered that NNPC was not accountable to anybody. They discovered that the thing was rife with corruption. They discovered that the accountant generals then were issuing billions of checks, even on a daily basis, and the records were not there. Can you believe the amount we have been hearing? Billions on this thing, and there are no records. There's corruption. That committee is there. That report is still there. I will always be saying it because it's of recent. I was doing another research when I stumbled on it. It's there. It is something that you can borrow a leaf from instead of going on holiday. They have gone on holiday. No, it does not show awareness of the suffering of Nigerians who voted them into power. That's my take for now.
All right. Now let's look at it, or let's touch on two key things. First of all, the Tajuddin Abbas made the statement that actually probably reverberated with several people that there will be no juicy committees, so to speak. And a lot of people have queried and said, as usual, politicians and lip service. When do we ever get to that point whereby politicians would not just talk the talk, but walk the walk? Also put it side by side with the argument we've been trying to make about politicians not being far removed from the groanings and the pains of Nigerians, but understanding what we feel, because there seems to be a political class that are completely oblivious of the happenings, although they claim that because the usual statement is they feel our pain, which is very ironical, because if you say that, it will be reflective on your actions. But if not, it's always lip service. When do we move away from politics of lip service to politics of action and politics of service?
Don't let me lose. You said so many things.
Yes.
You said so many things. But you mentioned juicy committees. You see, everybody knows the juicy committees. Finance, you get me? Finance, defense.
Yeah, petroleum.
And so on and so on. Of course, they've been sorted out. In fact, the finance person has retained his position. The defense has retained his position. The customs, those are the juicy something.
Okay.
But I don't mind them being juicy. Depends on what they mean by juicy. If they perform, that is the important thing. You get me? If they perform, you see, I know they will need money to go around, you get me, and inspect sites like they did on power the other time. They rooted out a lot of things, but in the process of doing investigation, they discovered that they too were implicated in trying to get money from those they were investigating. You see, what is necessary is accountability and transparency. In fact, nobody will vote a thief into power. Those who voted them into power trusted them. So it is up to them now to walk the talk. You get me? Otherwise, they will be treating with contempt the trust of the electorate.
No, but you seem to. Okay, my question has been: how do we move away from politics of lip service? Because it's one thing to make promises, it's one thing to make proclamations before and maybe even during the whole campaign period. But when the rubber meets the road, when it's time to actually put your hands.
Look, these are the elected officers.
Yes.
Right. And you can only judge them by what they say or how they perform. So what question are you asking? You can only judge them by what they say. And they have been put there by people. So you must give them some element of trust or credibility.
Well, President says that.
You can only judge them after they are left of office, or maybe they made a grievous blunder in the course of performance.
Haven't they started already with the way they've gone about this whole cost of living crisis in Nigeria? You've just alluded to yourself that.
So are you asking the question?
So I'm asking that when do we get to that point, is my question.
Look, your question is utopian and euphoric. It is not realistic. These are the representatives of the people.
True.
They can only promise to do things for us, and they've been given the opportunity, let them perform. You cannot say they walk the talk. How do you tell them to be doing left, right, and what?
It is metaphorical. It's a metaphorical statement.
Yes,
because the point is
realistic.
Because when do we hold our legislators accountable is the big question.
That's what we have been saying. Accountability is all what I've been saying.
To your point, Mr. Sobowale, funny enough, I thought this would be a peaceful moment because you're both wearing purple. But you mentioned that what's necessary is accountability and transparency. Yes. But now that all committees are now required to submit regular reports on a quarterly basis, and, based on the activities of the leadership of the House, do you think that this will enhance the accountability and transparency you're talking about?
That's the administrative process.
Yes.
That's what they have always been doing. What he is questioning is their integrity or their capacity to deliver as promised.
Yes,
You
but
get me?
my
You cannot go.
question is-
I don't have telepathy with them.
Yes.
So you cannot always judge them by what they put on the ground.
Yes, but my question
That's
is how
pragmatism.
this new requirement on the quarterly reports, would it enhance that in any way? Do you think it would or it wouldn't?
Again, I will repeat myself.
Okay.
That's bureaucracy. But that's the banks, the corporate bodies have annual general meeting, they have quarterly reports. Yes, those things are there. But those are administrative. What I am saying, and what he is saying, but he is not saying, is that these people have no, see, if they are, I won't say responsible, if they are accountable people, they will not go on 6 weeks holiday in the midst of impending social unrest, given the pangs of the removal of the fuel subsidy. How can they feel well wherever they go to?
So based on this,
I have
what you've
alluded
established.
to what happened in the past when they had an emergency session. They should go and look at that record. And if possible, cut down their holiday, go and look at that report and see how you can borrow a leaf. Because we are in a similar situation now. Removal of fuel subsidy. The report during 2012, during the regime of President from Bayelsa State. You know?
Goodluck Jonathan.
Goodluck Jonathan. Look, what I'm trying to say is that they should not waste money. They should be accountable. They should be responsive and be humane to what is happening on the ground and not go on holiday. And I said a similar situation has happened before, and a record is there that they can study to redress what is on the ground.
But based on what's been established with them going on holiday and, you know, increasing the cost of governance, probably with this gesture, what should we expect? What was said by Abbas, you know, when he charged the committee to ensure that every member is carrying out the interest of the people. Do you have anticipation or hope to see this in future decisions that they will take?
Aaron is saying they should walk the talk. You get me? They have promised. You can only monitor them. Nobody will promise to fail or to waste money. They can only promise to do what is good. And like the quarterly meetings, quarterly reports, those are administrative things. They're supposed to do that to get this across.
Now, back to my point, I'm trying to still probably drive the wedge deeper. There is a constitutional checks and balances within the system, whether it's the red chamber or the green chamber, in having to set these people, we need to setting them are right. Now, the question is, when do we start enforcing that checks and balances, basically?
The checks and balances is in the presidential system. Do you get me? Between the judiciary, the legislature, and the executive. We are talking of the legislation.
Absolutely, and we might talk more about that in another meeting. I guess
Another plenary.
Thank you so much, Arise News Analyst, Mr. Dayo Sobowale. It's always a pleasure to have you here on Newsday.